This is the Guy to Georgia Outdoors. It is New Year's Day, and today we're going to be doing something a little different. My wife went hunting. She got up this morning by herself and killed a doe. We needed some deer meat for the freezer. And guys, let me give you a little bit of advice. I've been married for going on 11 years. Get you a woman that can cook and one that can hunt. This morning I slept in with the girls and she went out and killed a doe. She texted me about 8:15 and said, I got a doe down. So I went and got the doe, got her right there, went and picked her up. And today we're gonna be making some deer jerky. I picked up the Mossy Oak Gamekeeper Jerky Gun, the 1 pounder. This is the smaller one. And I got some of their seasoning. It's got a multi-pack. It's got original hickory and whiskey pepper, which I'm filling the whiskey pepper today. And we're gonna make some deer jerky. Usually I slice up the meat, throw it on the dehydrator, but this one's gonna be seasoned, ground up. But we're gonna get this doe hung up. I'm gonna show you a few things that's not too bloody, and we're gonna get some deer jerky made. Before I get too deep into cleaning, I wanna show you something that's kind of cool. We built this skinning rack in 2010, and for about the first 6 or 7 years, I wrote down every deer that we cleaned out here. Wrote down what it was and how much it weighed. I quit doing that at some point, but it's kind of cool to show you how many we've got. And I know this is very unclear, but this is 2010, and you can see all that, like Blake Doe, Caleb Doe, Blake's 8 point. Actually, that says 6 point, but maybe back then I was a little less particular about what I was shooting. But you see all these deer we killed. 2014, all these right here. So pretty neat. Just a way to kind of remember what you killed, and we haven't done it for a few years, and I wish I would have kept up with it. Maybe I'll start again next year. But I have cleaned hundreds of deer at this particular skinning rack, and so I feel kind of qualified to be able to say this. The best knife that I've used is the Outdoor Edge with the replaceable blade. I'm not really good at sharpening knives, so this right here has really made my life better. This is a great knife. They actually have the blades that are longer. This blade, I'm not sure, it's about a 3-inch blade. Works really good for cleaning deer. These are Harbor Freight winches we have up top, and we have 2 of them, and they work really, really good. Never had any problems with them. I think they're rated for like 440 pounds, which is way more than what we'll ever need. And put them on a 6x6, and we've had plenty of times where we've had both of these in use at one time. But we like it. Can you use the old-fashioned crank? Absolutely, but if you can make your life a little easier, why not? At this point, I can't show you a whole lot more, so we're gonna go ahead and get this thing stripped down, and we'll pick up from there. We just made it to the meat room, and we swapped our skinning blade over to the 5-inch boning blade, so that's a good little change there. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna debone some of those hams. Those back straps are gonna make really good cube steaks, so I don't wanna use that in jerky. And here we don't do a lot of roast. We like to do burger a lot. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna debone these hams, and I'm gonna get me about 5 pounds of the ham out to make me some jerky. So there's really no right or wrong way of doing this. We just take the blade and start deboning. So here we go. This works a whole lot better if you've been allowing this deer to age in the cooler, but we're also gonna make it work without it. I like to just follow the contour of the bone. Got that big chunk out, set it over there, flip it over, follow the contour of this bone. This is where that sharp blade really comes in handy. Follow this side of the bone. Follow this side of the bone. Now just take you a couple of minutes and remove all this extra meat. Makes really good grind, really good burger. This recipe calls for 5 pounds of meat. The cutting board weighs about 3 pounds. Got about right at 8 pounds. So this is 5 pounds. We're gonna take a few minutes and trim this up right now. The more effort you put in right now to trimming it up, the better quality product you're gonna get, I guarantee. So spend a little extra time. What I'm gonna do is cut all this up into manageable chunks, remove the fat, remove silver skin. That way it feeds to the grinder really good, and you don't get any undesirable pieces in your final product. So what we're gonna do now, cut it up. Good time to remove any kind of fat, any kind of silver skin. See, stuff like that is not something that you're gonna want in your jerky. So that right there. And see, now once I got all this relatively clean, a little bit of silver skin right there, a little fat. I wanna cut it up from my particular grinder in about 1.5 inch cubes. If you have a different grinder, you can adjust accordingly. There you go, perfect cubes right there. We got our meat cut up. Now it says to grind it, and then you're going to add 1 pack of this. We're going to go with the whiskey pepper, 1 pound or 1 ounce of cure, and we're also going to go with 1 8-ounce cup of water. Mix it all together, let it refrigerate. So now we got to grind it. All right, now the directions call for 1 ounce or 1 packet of the cure, 1 packet of the whiskey pepper season, and 8 ounces of cold water. All right, to the refrigerator for 4 hours. We've had the meat sitting in the refrigerator for a few hours. I've been processing the rest of the deer. And in full disclosure, I've never used one of these before, and I can't really see how I'm gonna use this without getting it all over me. So we're gonna start loading it up and see if we can fill this tube up. It says it'll hold about 1 pound of meat, and I've got 5 pounds. So we're gonna load it up, and we chose the ones that's got 2 ends on it. So we're gonna see if we can lay out 2 flat strips of ground meat and put it in the dehydrator. So I'm gonna set the camera down and see if you can kind of watch me as I go along. All right, we got our tube. I'm gonna try to keep one hand clean, so I'm gonna use the put the meat in there with the other hand. Put it together. All right, here goes nothing. All right, after several failed attempts, I feel like I've finally got something close. So you kind of use it like a caulk gun and keep it moving. Not bad. You see how one side was working, the other wasn't, but it's all right. Just keep it going. All right, there you have it. It turned out pretty good. Can't complain with that. We're gonna finish filling up all these racks. All right, I did make quite a mess my first attempt, but it did get easier with each attempt. I wouldn't recommend doing this in your house on the first time you did it until you get pretty good with it, but it turned out pretty well. Like I said, I did get some on the table and some on my hands, but I think it's going to turn out pretty good. So now we're going to stack up the dehydrator. I was unable to get all 5 pounds, so I'm probably going to freeze the remainder or put it in the refrigerator and cook it after this batch, depending on how long this takes. It's got a great smell. This was my first attempt. You see, I got better with time. All right, we're gonna plug the dehydrator up, and I like to keep an eye on it, moving the bottom shelf up to the top and kind of rotating it that way because the bottom does cook a little bit quicker. I'm not sure how long this is gonna take, but we're gonna keep an eye on it, and we're gonna see how it turns out from there. But I would imagine it's gonna take several hours, so we'll check up probably later on this afternoon, maybe tonight. All right, we're about 10 minutes before the kickoff of the Georgia-Ohio State game. The jerky's not all completely done, but we do have several pieces that are done good enough for the official Guide to Georgia Outdoors taste test. The past couple of hours, I've been rotating, and I think it's been on there for about 6 hours now. Been rotating the different layers, and finally got a few pieces that are done. Like I said, still needs probably another hour or so to get every bit of it completely done. As you can tell, some of this is still raw, but some of this is still, like a lot of this that was on bottom, is done. So this piece right here we just took off, and we're gonna do the official taste test. So here we go. That is good. I've made a lot of jerky in my day, and it's got the distinct taste that only deer meat can get. But a lot of times when I slice the meat, you put it on there, it's so tough, it's hard to chew, and it takes a lot of time to chew it, and your teeth will be sore the next day. And so you're getting all the flavor of sliced meat, but the tenderness of ground meat. So the flavor's there. Really impressed with that. I think with a little bit of practice, I can get the gun down a little better for my the jerky strips to be a little more even. And I think if I let it sit in the refrigerator for about 24 hours, the flavor would kind of get throughout the meat a little bit better. But I'm very pleased with this. I'll be playing around with some different recipes in the future, and may throw some on the pellet grill, maybe throw some in the oven. But for the first attempt, pretty satisfied with this. Hope you enjoyed this video. Nothing got killed, but still, if you like deer hunting, you like deer jerky. So hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out. Until the next one, this has been the unofficial, no doubt incomplete guide to Georgia Outdoors. Oh yeah, whiskey pepper, way to go.